rock fall, sealing the way that they had come behind them, but effectively locking them onto the path. The party continued and were eventually made their way to what seemed like a meeting place of sorts. Several paths, 6 or 7 different dark alcoves, all leading different directions, protected by some unnatural darkness that only would break when something was thrown through it. The party chose a direction and began moving down, despite the webs and remains that they discovered. After not too long, an careless foot was placed slightly too close to a dark spot on the wall, and out boiled a swarm of spiders, followed by swarms more, and then larger, more esoteric spiders that the party had not seen before. This was the beginning of the end, but the party did not know it yet. As they continued forward, having battled their first group, they were more cautious, but unable to completely avoid the tens of hundreds of spiders that seemed to teem within this warren of tunnels. A second fight and more scrapes and bruises for the party left them very worried and as cautious as they had been yet. But unfortunately, they were betrayed by the weakest of their member, Tum, who was not as quiet as the rest of the party and gave away the group to a trumpet spider, which alerted the warren of the intruders. All possibilities of stealth gone, the party broke into a run, attempting to escape out of the warren of tunnels, once again using their using the currents of the air to guide them. It was a desperate attempt with many attacks going back and forth between the party, the spiders, several people going down, including Tum and your very own rabbit, who fell and were consumed by the tiny spiders before the larger ones moved in to savor the fresh, warm blood of prey. Wounded, sore, the three of you, Zashi, Zeke, and Cherie, all are making your way down the cliff exterior towards the dead forest, even as you watch the first pokes of light come up on the far horizon. You have made your escape. You are in slight cover, but you desperately need sleep. And as the day begins to dawn, you can hear the baying of hounds and the shouted voices that carry far, far across the plains on the wings of the wind. And you know that the hunters are after you. You will not have time. You all reach the bottom of this small cliff, no more than 50 feet high. A natural rock exposed, like a natural rock face exposed by wind, the elements. It's hard to say, but as you exit, the stone, soft, loamy earth is once again under your feet. The natural hill providing a slight obstruction, but not enough to hide the massive walls of the prison that are several miles behind you at this point. You are in the fringes of the dead forest. What would you like to do?
I guess as Zeke sort of cranes his neck up, he's just looking around just to make sure. Just so to clarify, we have Zosh, we have, I'm sorry, I forgot creepy lady's name.
Sorry.
Sorry. And we have Zip. I forget the mute gal's name as well.
And a zipper.
anyone else? Yeah.
No. The four of you are standing there. I will say, as you, Panzerver wastes no time and darts into the edge of the forest to get some cover behind trees. assuming you all follow,
Yeah.
you find yourselves within the dark and foreboding forest, even as the fresh light of freedom and sunrise reach down upon it.
You, you girls look a little knocked around. You need a second?
Do we really have a second?
I don't think we do from the sounds of it. I think.
Would you guys like to make some sort of check to gauge the distance, or tell me, or to remember what you know of people on horseback, how quickly they could cover distance?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. What kind of check?
Survival, animal handling, if you're specifically looking about the horses, possibly a perception to gauge the distance back the way they came, listen more to the sounds of the raised voices that you can hear.
Goodbye, person.
Okay.
I'll try out animal handling.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'll start with the highest roll and make my way down. Cherie, with an 18 perception, you look back, and though dawn is rising, you can still see the faint glow of torches many miles away. You can tell it's the closest group is more than 3.5 miles away. And you could tell that they seem to be riding somewhat north, and a little bit west towards the river and towards where you all know the town of Wolfstone is. The other two groups you aren't able to see or locate as well, but that's because they're on the opposite side of the prison, and they don't seem to be heading, at least in your direction. Those groups are each about 5 miles away. Ezekiel, you know that horses are fairly quick. The average horse runs about, I believe it's 7 miles. No, fuck. I just had this figure. It's about 50 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that they could cover the distance to you in very little time if they needed to, and or caught sight of you. It seems that your biggest concern right now is not being spotted. Zashi, with a 15 survival, you note that you up till this point have left almost no tracks. There's no way for them to track you over bare stone. It's only as you've finally entered this forest that you've begun leaving a trail of either smell or footprint. And if you can do something to obscure that, you're going to slow any pursuit that comes considerably. And as you are all looking around and making mental calculations, trying to decide if you have time to rest, Peniziver has made their way over to the base of one of the trees, and she's dug out some like very fresh wet dirt from there and is applying it to her face and hands.
I'm gonna go over and start helping, especially being from the woods myself, mix in anything that seems moldy, rotted vegetation, fucking stuff that smells the high hell that could.
Yeah, the tree is covered with like lichen, which you can start ripping off and adding to this pile of sort of wet mud that she's created by digging the small hole, like the natural water of the earth coming up to fill it and make it runnier as she starts like spreading it further over herself. She gives you like a nod. Shuri.
I'm gonna roll in the dirt some.
Yeah. Zeke makes his way over, and are you gonna get your own hole, or do you go over and join them at this hole?
I'll go over and join.
Okay. Panaziver like takes she scoops up a double handful of mud and slops it in front of you before going back to like digging in this hole.
Yeah.
Um,
Just sort of pour it on me and then just roll around in the dirt for a second.
yeah, just get it really into you.
Yeah.
Zashi, as the intellectual, you watch your fellow escapees immediately start playing in the mud.
I mean, yeah, Zashi's not gonna do all that. I don't know. She's a little too hoity-toity for that, even now.
Okay, so what's a
Fine.
first reaction either to this or like in response to the information that you kind of figured out as looking around? You can see like a small set of tracks leading back towards the earth.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that, Zashi, like, she would probably say something about the fact that she already glows, so I, like, I don't know how much mud covering it would really help. Um,
Can you
she's,
turn that off?
I mean, no, I don't really think so. It's not like there's a dimmer switch or anything. Whatever a dimmer switch is. What's a dimmer switch? I
What's a dimmer? What the fuck?
I think you can at least make it so that you don't like give off light. Like you can't. It's part of you, right? It's like the hair on the back of your arm. You can't really remove it like that, especially because it's flames. It's intangible. Um, but I would say you could like consciously be less luminescent. Definitely.
Maybe wrap it
yeah,
up.
in which case I'm already like the mud brown.
Okay.
Like that's happening right now. So, but yeah, she's. I'm trying to figure out what I could possibly do to, um, like, make obscure our tracks in some way. But
With a 15 survival, maybe dragging you've like read books about this kind of thing. Dragging a branch behind you, perhaps using it like a broom to sweep up and obscure the mud. You could also use handfuls of leaves, potentially, or things like that. Anything that would basically cover or obscure, like even if you had some source of water that you could pour and further like destroy any sign of these tracks. Anything like that would help. As you're kind of looking around, you said you're a little hoity-toity. You kind of turn your nose up at everyone else bathing in the mud, and you're like considering one of the trees, perhaps that has more branches on the low-hanging limb, and you hear this very high-pitched, and you whip your head around, but there's nothing there.
wait, there's nothing there, or like if I move, which direction did it come from?
It was on your left side. It wasn't like right in your ear, but it was like if someone was standing next to you. Almost.
Is there some? I would just be like, what the? Who the fuck was giggling?
Did we all hear it or just Sash?
Just Zosh.
No one is giggling.
I heard some giggling.
Penziver gives you a strange look and looks over it and gives kind of like a point up at Zeke, who is now covered in mud.
Mm-hmm. What?
I'm gonna pull off one of the branches from the tree to drag behind us. How are the tracks looking like on this path? Like, is it a well traveled area or is it pretty barren?
As far as you could tell, it's very barren. Panziver and Shuri like moved more off what you see as this sort of natural path. What this is just more dried mud, less a path and more just like the driest parts under the trees that have not been soaked as much. They're not as deep. It's maybe the remnants of a path very, very long ago where the earth was more packed down, so it's more resistant to erosion. But even then, you can see it's a mess. It's not. It is probably no more than a game trail at this point. So if you walk on there, you're gonna leave less tracks than just schlepping through the mud. Um,
But schlepping is fun.
but schlepping is fun.
If we need to hunker down, I suggest finding an animal then.
Only place I can think of is ducking in the roots of one of these trees, maybe, but I feel like we don't have much more than an hour.
That's if we're trying to outpace horses. Trying to make
We're
it
not
seem like
gonna
we're not even
outpace
here.
horses.
That's why we need to make it seem like we've not even come this way.
You got some weird, creepy magic next to happen, or
Fortunately. Sure what was going on in the cave, but that was new for me.
right? Well, try and remember how to do it, because as creepy and bullshit as it was, seems useful.
Peniziver makes like like a waving motion trying to grab your attention. They've drawn like 3 pictures in the mud. One is the sun, or what looks to be a small sun, and then next to that, a stick figure laying down, their hands under their head, and then the third picture is the moon and the stick figure running.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I figure that's probably our best idea. Because the second we get spotted by anyone on horseback, they're going to be on us and
I'll say at this
the dog's tail. So
at this point, Zashi, you finish destroying the tracks that you guys have made up to this point, and you can you can bring your muddy branch over to the group.
Bloody branch.
Hello, I have a muddy branch.
congratulations on your acquisition.
You get a thumbs up from Peniziver, who is now a mud person.
Okay, so was the suggestion? I'm not great at hieroglyphics or whatever they're called.
Oh,
But was the suggestion we sleep until nightfall and then run?
Yes.
I'd say that's
Okay.
probably a big call, because we ain't making it anywhere if they spot us. By the way, Zip, do you mind if I cover up your art here, just because don't want anyone finding it?
She'll just like take a foot and like smear across it real quick.
That works. I'll just throw some leaves on it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Now we gotta find where we're gonna hunker down.
I think probably tuck in one of these trees.
Into it or a den if there's one. You just
I'm
see
Normally, I'd make a beautiful tower with beds, and that sounds like a bad idea right now.
Look, Zash, that sounds great, but yeah, maybe not right now. How
Shari's
about,
like sticking more twigs in her hair to almost like inadvertently, like she's done this 100 times before on fucking wilderness ghillie suit, but woven into her hair and clothes. And she just starts sticking sticks to her shirt.
Sure. Why don't you all give me
Oh,
a survival to see how well you cover your own scent? Zashi, are you gonna do anything with the mud? Maybe a little bit reluctantly.
I just don't think she would do it.
That's totally fair. Then you do not have to roll survival. Shuri, are you claiming backstory or what's it called? Background? Because you're a woods person. Do you think you would have advantage?
I would, just because of Mask of the Wild. I'm used to having to be in the forest.
Okay.
I might sort of turn around to Zosh. If you're not gonna, get down and dirty, you should probably tuck your hair up in something.
Probably a good call.
Even if it's possible, you should for the moment.
Shuri, as you're putting the twigs in your hair, you watch kind of interestedly as one of them, possibly from a long dead tree or bush, it's hard to tell, becomes green at one end and sprouts a bud that opens into a bright pink and yellow flower.
That is extremely fascinating and very inconvenient.
Yeah.
And then, Shuri, you hear a giggle in your ear from around head height, as if someone was standing next to you.
I look around and study the forest around me.
Cannot discern anything visually.
You good there, Twiggy?
I feel like something extra is here.
Oh, so you heard the giggle?
Yes.
Ah, shit. Sounds like some magic bullshit.
Shuri is going to not violently pluck, but take the branch that has the flower and gently plant it. So it actually stays in the ground.
Or you stick it back in the ground.
I think we need to find someone soon. And company might ensue, but not the gods.
Right. Well, I don't know much what to do about weird, creepy giggling from nowhere, so my bet is we just hunker down under one of these trees, take a quick hour or so just to recover, and get rid of whatever needs getting rid of, I guess.
Exactly. Let's go looking.
I'm thinking tucking under this big tree over here. And I'll just sort of start looking for. I'm assuming this tree has some room. in
Big
the roots.
bowls of absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about the erosion before. It seems like the ground height here was much higher,
Yeah.
however long ago, but the plains have obviously experienced some type of flooding or something like that to cause all of this area to become mucky. And though it's a little bit unpleasant, there is this space that is about 2 feet filled with mud, with about 4 feet above that of clearance inside the tree right about here. You have to duck through a fairly low entrance. Your face basically almost has to go under, crawl on your belly through, but there's enough space for the 4 of you to sit with your shoulders touching and be basically invisible from the outside.
I'll probably curl myself around around the outside of inside, but on the outer on the wall of this area, just to give the others perhaps a little bit more space, and then take some sticks and pull them across the entrance.
Sure. Why don't you give me a stealth? I'll say with advantage because everyone is working together on this.
Mm-hmm.
Would it not be survival, or
If you prefer survival, that's fine. I was thinking stealth because you're trying to hide yourself, but
No, that's
survival
fair.
works as well.
Yeah, I would personally prefer survival, mainly just because I'm better at it. But whichever you feel is most
No, do
appropriate.
your best skill.
Right.
You are using your survival abilities, so that's what like
Yeah.
represents this check. So you weave a fairly convincing blind. Um, it's not your best work, but it is a rush job, and it'll hold up to anything that doesn't have an incredible nose or very good eyesight.
Yeah.
And one by one, you all dip yourselves into this small, like, natural basin of water and mud, and more crawl than swim your way into the bowl of this tree.
I'm just sort of looking down at the mud. I don't know about y'all, but it looked like it was gonna rain before we go, because this does not look like a fun place to drown in.
Afraid to have to swim your way out.
I mean, I could swim just fine, just maybe not quite as tight a space as this.
I'll take my chances. I'm not exactly the one to be picky right now.
I would hope we would notice, if it was starting to get a little rainy down here.
Yeah.
Immediately fucking flashbang over to flash flood throwing it.
Alright. Hey, Zip, you seem pretty uncut. So, would you mind keeping your eyes open for us? At least part of it?
You look over at her, and she is looking at a stone that has floated to the top of the mud pile that you guys are all kind of crouched in. And as you watch, the stone transforms into a small representation of the sky, the mud kind of coating across it to depict a cloudy but rainless day, as if someone was predicting the weather.
The fuck?
Looks like it'll be dry.
And
Okay.
Shari looks at you way too calm for that.
So which one of you magic ladies was that?
Not me, but probably a forest friend.
Do we have one of those?
You know,
How better than a forest foe?
I think at that, Zeke, you hear a small giggle at around head height. It sounded like it came from, like where Cherie is, but no one else hears it.
Oh my God! Is there a character introduction coming soon?
I'm just gonna say this. I heard the giggle real quick. Just bear with me, ladies. Excuse me, Mr., Mrs., or whatever the fuck, giggle person.
I believe the term is mixed.
makes
I
giggles.
don't. I don't understand. Giggle person. Let's just go with that. Giggle person, giggle creature. Would you please not fuck us up or fuck us over? That would be nice. Thank you. I'm gonna have a nap now. And Zeke just kind of tries to relax and is like gently picking bits of shit out of the many, many wounds he has.
Inside your head, Zeke, you hear, I was just helping you. Also, it probably smells pretty foul in that root setup down there. I think I saw, like, a squad of pigs roll around in there, and I think they was taking some shits in there too, so you might be in some pig shit, just a heads up.
Alrighty, giggle person. Honestly, that's probably for the best. We got some doggies coming that we
Oh,
do not want
you
noticing
also
us.
you know you don't gotta talk out loud when you're talking to me like this. I'm
What?
talking to you
I don't.
telepathically.
I don't. Can you guys hear that?
I thought you just finally went insane.
I'm sorry.
Also,
I am nearby though.
do you exist as like a physical thing, or are you just like some weird magic thing? Or am I like going crazy? What's happening
I
here?
I exist as a real thing, and I can be magical, but I am mostly a real thing. I'm nearby, but I know how you guys treat things, so I'm not gonna be real close to where you can, grab me and smush me, or break my head off and drink my blood because I know that's the thing you like to do because you're cannibal.
Oh my
But
god. Are you what
I
I think
mean,
you are?
you killed my best star attraction. But you all fairly entertaining, so I guess if I can plead my case to the superiors, they won't drag my ass back to the Feywild. So I guess just keep doing what you're doing, and I will help you out when I can,
I'm really
and we'll be
confused.
okay, right? In fact, I saw you guys were pretty fucked up, so I'm guessing whatever ate my buddy boy, it probably fucked you up pretty good. I can heal a little bit if you guys are comfortable with me coming to assist you. I just don't want to do it in the pig shit pit that you're in right now because I don't like being near pig shit.
I are you guys hearing that?
I am.
All right, this shit is confusing. Giggle person, can you talk to us all at the same time when you're talking? Because
Okay. And so with that, a tiny pixie like fairy thing floats down. She's probably no
I
less
knew it!
than 2 feet tall at this point as she floats down. She's floating. She's flying down. Little flutter wings. Her wings are like translucent green, like kind of. It looks like a milky mix of jade or emerald with black like spines on them. She's got. Looks like it's like a white unitard. It's like resplendent
I'd
and
say that.
very big, poofy, loud green shoulders and hips, grabbing the upper thighs. And she's got like little flowers on her hair and big braided blonde voluminous hair just sticking out on the sides of her head with little pointy ears. I'm gonna keep my distance. If you could come out, I can do some healing
she's
for y'all.
just already crawling out and probably has not noticed you and almost steps on you.
Oh no, she's not at foot height. She's
Oh,
flying, so
okay.
she's at head level right
Just a
now.
little-
She just
He's just like,
backs away.
God, that's a big fucking bug. Swats at it.
I mean, it is actively
I
speaking and talking to you. I don't think
Oh,
she's
okay.
an idiot.
No, sorry. I just thought she was buzzing around.
No, she
And
Yeah,
flew
I
down
thought
from
she
a
was talking.
branch.
Okay, I thought she was talking around in her heads as well. Still,
no, she's talking verbally. She's talking with her voice
okay.
now.
So climb out and just stand up, crack his back.
Slow. Not
Okay.
brunch though.
Oh my god, it's a pixie.
Well,
Holy
What?
shit.
I mean, I got magic, so I'm more like a fairy. But I mean, I got sisters that are pixies. Oof, you're all messed up. Oof. Yeah, I guess I'll be using up most of what I can do to heal y'all. But I don't want y'all dying from some stupid gods. So, uh, are you coming out
They were
eventually? Are you
spiders.
like?
They were actually spiders.
Well, the spiders hit you up pretty good, but you got out of there, and they ain't gonna come out because they don't like the light. But now you got guards, and they might get lucky, and you're pretty roughed up. So even if they just accidentally hit you hard, you might die. So
That would not be good. Can
yeah,
you
yeah, let's
do?
fix it. Yeah, I can do some stuff, but you got to promise, don't like try to eat me, all right? Because I don't want you to bite me or cut me up or whatever you do when you try to eat people. All right?
Look, it was more intimidation tactics. People
And
don't fuck with you if
Penziver,
they're scared of you.
Penziver quietly puts away her sickle.
Hmm.
Oh, also, Pensiver, you're a badass. I think you can take this guy out in no time flat.
I don't think Zip would do that to me.
I mean, I don't think you had to have beef about it, but I think if it came down to brass tacks, or if somebody paid you guys enough money for a fight, I think she'd take you out pretty spectacularly. Anyways,
I mean, right
all right,
now, yeah.
no, if you were whatever. Anyways, she goes down, she flutters down, and she's still tiny, or smaller than small, but she flutters down to about face level, and she says, "All right." She's looking over. I guess Zashi first. It's like, uh, I mean, with how injured you are, I reckon you probably get real sick if you'd stayed in that water too like this. Well, first, can I get you cleaned up first? I can't work like this. And she starts. Is it okay if I use prestidigitation on you?
Prestidigit what now?
Go right
It's
ahead.
okay. She starts working their way down, like an X-ray machine, like a Xerox machine, just cleaning you down. Okay, all right, that's better. Oh, wow, honey, I'm sorry about what you're looking like right now. And she goes over and she like touches her in a spot where it's not gonna hurt, and she casts. She uses first her warlock healing, which is healing light, and she uses three. It's proficient, and it's based off her charisma. She uses 4 of her charisma, so she uses 4d6 to heal you with R4d6. So you get 12 points of rejuvenated energy into your body. It heals up your injuries a bit.
Yeah, you
I
have
ha-
this. You have the strangest feeling, Zashi, as like a couple of the deeper wounds seem to leak this clear brownish liquid as it expunges the last of the venom, and then those wounds seem to close over. The biggest ones closing first.
Wow. Holy shit. Thank you.
Oh, I, I'm gonna first. I'm gonna take care of triage, and then whatever I have left over, and then I'll try to top people up. Okay, so you hold fast. I'm gonna, Miss Sherry, I'm gonna hit you up next because you look real dead. Uh,
It's been very rough.
yeah. Oh, honey. Second here. Hey, unfortunately, I'm almost out of this healing light here, so it's just got to be just a little bit of it. But I got something else I can do for you too. 2d6. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't that's strong as I'd hope it would be. That's okay though, because I can do this too. And she casts Cure Wounds at level 2. Boop.
You mean at level?
2, because she's a warlock, and she
Yeah,
only has level 2 levels.
shouldn't it be level 3 at 5th level?
Oh, 3. Yeah, level 3. Sorry, my bad. Thank you. I was thinking about how many I had.
No worries.
Appreciate it.
No, yeah, I want to. I would like them to have a little bit of HP.
Hell
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
16. There we go. So yeah, you get 19 points of healing total. So yeah, she used the last bit of her healing light from her warlock abilities, and she's like, it's kind of like she pulls her hands away and it like fizzle a little bit. She's like, oh, just that's all. And then she uses her spell slot to hit you with a real heavy hit, and you're like, that's much better. Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta save a little bit for Zeke here, otherwise he's gonna be too weak to take a hit.
That's
All right,
already
boss.
much better.
Come over here. And she flutters over to you. Oh, and she also cleaned you up too. She did prestidigitation just like she did for her.
She would
To make
stop
sure
you
you
like,
get infected.
no.
I
All right, Zeke.
prefer them
Let's
by.
get you cleaned up too. I know you
Real
worked
real
hard to
quick
hide your scent. I don't want
real
you to get
quick
infection.
question.
Yes, sir.
What the fuck are you?
I'm a fairy.
What's a fairy?
I'm another kind of creature like you that thinks for myself.
Oh, okay.
I'm also able to
please-
cast magic and I can fly.
Please do not do bad magic on me.
I
And I'll just
I
sort of
just
like
did
hold.
good
I'll
magic
just hold up my
on your.
arms.
I just did good magic on 2 of your comrades, and I was helping y'all while you were getting all fucked up after the spiders. I've established that I don't have any ill will to you, right? She looks between everybody else.
I mean, maybe. Look, I have
mean,
not had the best track record
if you don't want me,
with
if you don't
people.
want, I have one last. I can only use one more spell slot for like the next hour. If you don't want me to use it on you, I will not touch you. I will go away.
I'll take it.
Okay,
I'm
I
politely
promise.
asking that you do not do bad magic on me.
I promise you, I will only do bad magic on you if you try to eat my face, or kill me some other bad way. All right.
I will not do that until you
All
give
right.
me a
So
reason to.
we have an accord then, right?
Just do
Until
it.
you fuck me over, then I will not.
Sounds good. Give me your hand.
All right, just big hand,
She's
probably the size of you.
yeah. Her little hand fits in there, but she grabs onto your pad in your hand and she holds it fast. It feels pretty. Yeah, you feel like a small pinch for how tight she grips it. She's like she pumps it as you feel a little hand gripping on your hand. You feel like a little push on your palm, like someone trying to shake your hand.
Man, you're real tiny.
Yeah, I am right now because I chose to be. Now, are you gonna shake my hand? Or are you gonna marvel at me being small?
I don't know how your magic works. I'm just holding up my
Are you
hand.
gonna?
You do.
I just want to finish this agreement before I cast magic on you because
Oh,
you
you're
said
trying
you
to.
wouldn't kill me
Oh,
if I
okay.
wasn't gonna do bad shit to you.
Sorry, I didn't realize you was trying to shake my hand.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
We're moving along, right? Shake my damn hand so I can finish my agreement.
just like full grips your entire arm and like
Yeah.
shakes
Yeah.
it maybe
I mean,
a little too
she's like
hard.
now she's starting to flail a little bit as he overdoes it. She's like whatever. Like
Sorry,
she lets it happen. Okay, lets her go.
you're real small.
She like flexes her hand a little because there's like a lot of stress on her forearm. She's like, all right, good. Now here you go. And she puts her palm on his hand on the back of his arm. And she's like, okay, here. And she used her other spell slot to heal him for cure wounds level 3.
Christ, was that an ordeal?
That was an ordeal. Sorry about that. And it sucked for the spell healing too. So 11 points of healing.
How come my one wasn't as good as everyone else's?
I'm sorry. I don't control the magic. It just comes. I just channel it, and I guess the magic was pissed off because you were making such a fuss out of it.
I have not had good. Never mind. I
I'm
appreciate
sorry if you have bad experience.
your
But
good
I
magic.
was just trying to help. I'm just trying to help. Okay. Anyways. Yeah. My name's Lucille. Lucille Sipco Manga. That's the full name. It's fair traditionally they're supposed to say all 3 names. I don't give a fuck in this material plane because nobody can chew me off for not saying my full name every single time they talk to me. So Lucille's just fine.
All right.
Thank you for the
I'm
help.
gonna forget all of that. That's a long name. I
Yeah,
won't
Giggly
try to
Boy's
remember
fine. Is
one of
fine
them.
too if you want to call me that. I know you like nicknames.
Yeah, you can be Giggles.
Giggles, that's fine too. But yeah, Lucille is my preferred proper name in material plane. That's easy for you to remember.
What's that?
But yeah,
What's
we are right
very-
now, where we are standing, where we are. That's material plane. There's more to it, but we don't have time to
I
explain
thought
it. You
this
guys should
place
rest.
was. Zeke's just very confused.
Anyways, I'm glad I was able to help you out a little bit. I'm sorry, Zashi. I thought I would have more magic in me to do some more healing for you, but I used it up on everybody else too.
It's all right. I'll I'll live. We just gotta keep on moving.
Penziver gestures back to the hole, somewhat questioningly.
Yeah,
Should we get back in the hole?
I'm gonna crawl back in the hole and just curl up around the side again.
We need nighttime.
Yeah. For me, I actually get some of my magic back if I rest too. So I'm gonna rest up in the tree's boughs because they ain't looking for me. 2, they don't know my smell, and 3, I can fly, so I can get away by just going up and high. So I'll keep lookout for y'all too. All right, let you know so that way you guys can get some shut eye.
Ah, thanks, Giggles.
And she flutters up and flies up into the tree to a nice higher branch, to where she can hide and rest.
All right. So you guys are going to be trying to take a short rest, right? Or are you going to try and take a long rest?
How long do we have roughly until nightfall?
It is dawn. As you have had this conversation,
Okay.
dawn has like occurred. So the sun is now above the horizon at this point. It is around, I'll say, 6 a.m.
I guess a long rest since
Yeah,
it's gonna be
I
a
feel
while
like
till
we
night.
probably want to.
Yeah, you guys have been up all night, fighting spiders and climbing down a cliff and running through a tunnel. It's been a lot. And you don't take exhaustion until the second day of no sleeping, but it
Yeah.
is, you are all tired.
Zeke is just realizing how tired he is, and he's like curling up at the bottom of the hole, and
Okay.
this probably has no choice but to be everyone else's pillow.
Yeah, you're probably the only one that's big enough to kind of lay in the mud and not have it be above your head,
Yeah,
which means that the parts of you that are above mud are
yeah.
like in the middle. Yeah. Okay. Is there any discussion of watch after what Lucille said?
Don't need too long a rest. Just enough.
Pan, you is it? Could you just keep a little bit of an eye out for the first hour or so?
She'll nod and kind of shift and sit in the bowl outside of the tree, in the same puddle as you, but outside of the root that creates the entranceway.
Appreciate it.
The as she moves outside, the mud sloshes and then kind of subsides back to its still position. And I guess you guys will all try and get some rest as day dawns. For the first rest, Panziver is going to be on watch. Lucelle, you're not sleeping and don't require a long rest at this point. Are you going to effectively be on watch for all 4 watches? Flinks is you're muted if you're talking.
Sorry, I forgot I muted myself again. Apologies.
All good.
But yes, Lucille volunteers to give them let them rest. She can also telepathically warn people. It's like, hey, wake up! Start being
Okay.
nabby in their head.
Why don't we get this out of the way first? Why don't you describe what you're going to do for these 8 hours and roll me 4 perception checks?
Okay. Lucille does patrol. She flies and hides in places where potential patrols would come approach, trying to search for them, and then she goes back and watches from the tree a little bit. But yeah, for the most part, she just sticks to just watching. Maybe she goes a little bit when she thinks it's safe. For the most part, she's pretty good about keeping an eye out. So then just four perceptions.
Yes, please.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess she started getting tired towards the end.
Sure. Well, and maybe there's a little bit of lack of extended focus. It's just like, okay, nothing's happening. I'm bored.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you and Penziver share the first watch. They are very quiet the whole time. As they move out from underneath the hole of the tree, they like look up at you and settle into the mud. Basically, nothing but her face and hood above the liquid line. And the 2 of you are on watch as you hear the baying of dogs and the occasional shouted voice echo across the plains and grow steadily closer. It's clear as your watch progresses that the horses are not moving at their full tilt. They are attempting to let the dogs catch the scent, which it seems that they have not. And it's about 45 minutes into your watch that you do hear them grow fairly close, possibly within a few thousand feet of the edge of the forest where you all find yourselves. You moved some distance in, but in your desire to hide, you forwent moving deeper into the forest. And I'll say you don't see, but you can clearly hear the sounds of this forest as they move around the edge of the forest and seem to circle around the north side. Rather than entering the forest, they seem to be patrolling the exterior, attempting to determine if you all went in. But as the tense minutes pass, they begin to swing northward and don't enter the forest near you all. But the dogs are still loud on the wind as Panasiver ducks back into the bowl and glances around, then pokes Zashi in the upper thigh. It's not painful, but it is a stiff finger into a somewhat sensitive area.
Ow! What the fuck?
She gestures with her head outside and then points at her eye.
What do you see? What do you see, girl? What do you see?
She just looks at you with a disappointed expression, and she points at you, and then your eye, and then outside.
Got it. You want me to watch?
She'll,
All right. Yeah, I can do a watch.
she'll give you room to climb out of the bowl of the tree. Really hope I'm using bowl correctly.
The basin.
Hmm.
Oh, hey Nate, I forgot to ask. So I would assume that Lucille probably telepathically spoke once or twice to Panzer during their watch. Would Panzer have been mute her entire life, or is that a more recent thing in her life? Did she have an internal voice? Just curious.
You didn't get any response,
Ah,
but I'm not sure.
just curious.
Each time you spoke to her, she would turn and look at you, and if it was possible to respond with a motion
A visual,
or
yeah.
she would do so. If not, she just kind of gives you an unreadable blank expression that extends until you kind of say never mind.
Yeah, I get you.
Zashi, you step out, you can see the a fairy flitting around the top of the tree, kind of watching the guard exchange happen. You step outside. It is mid-morning. It's bright, and though the birds aren't quite singing, you can hear them flitting about in the trees, as well as the softer sounds of animals moving through the underbrush, and of course, the hunting dogs after you all.
Fun.
What do you do as you come out onto your watch?
I mean, I just plant and watch.
Okay. You just go into the same spot, cuddle up in the mud, and set a watch. All right, give me a perception check.
Oh, did it not go through?
Oh, it did. I'm so sorry. It didn't ping me. Okay. You are exhausted, Dashi. You are so tired. It is hard to keep your eyes open, and even though the danger is very present, it's hard to tell where they are. The sound doesn't seem to get any quieter as the wind carries it over long distances, even through the trees. So you are not as aware of the presence of the guards. However, Lucelle is a bit more aware. With your patrols getting a little bit more confident, moving farther away from the tree, you can tell that the guards that moved towards the forest seemed to have swept the entire southern side of the forest and moved around towards the north before breaking off and heading back. Excuse me, I'm hiccuping. Towards the prison at a much faster clip. And over the course of this watch, they go far enough that you can no longer hear the sound of raised voices or the baying of dogs for now.
Fuck them dogs.
With a 21 as well, You do spy, Lucelle, a pair of prints in the mud that don't look like an animal that you recognize. Familiar with the creatures of the Feywild, it doesn't look dissimilar to a bullywug print, but it's slightly flatter and longer. As far as you know, bullywugs aren't native to the material plane.
Hmm.
It's only a small patch moving from one of the more well-packed game trails that crisscross the undergrowth to another, passing through a larger portion of mud, maybe a half dozen footprints in total, but it does catch your eye. It stands out from the rest, from the other much smaller footprints. There doesn't seem to be much large game in this dead forest, which makes sense. Beyond
Yeah.
that, your watches progress without. Oh, I'm sorry, you were gonna say something.
Yeah, yeah. She does let Zashi know, just to pass word along that there might be potentially hostile wildlife in the area. In addition to potential guards coming, so just keep an eye out for anything that might be approaching that's not humanoid looking. If I don't see it,
Okay. So should you say, do you have a telepathic voice speaks into your head telling you all of that stuff? Footprints of an unknown creature resembling a bullywug.
Ah, okay. Um, I, I mean, I don't really know anything about Bullywugs, I guess.
yeah, just
Maybe
pass
I
word
do. I
along.
could.
Yeah, just letting know people know. In addition to
Oh,
potential
could I
guards.
roll?
Yeah, what do
Could
you
I
want?
roll
History?
for? Yeah, history.
Okay. Knowledge of bullywugs or bullywug-like creatures. You do know, especially in the southern parts of this world, Grung are a very populous people. And though the major settlements of Grung are not found commonly outside of the principality, wild Grung or wilderness Grung, as they sometimes prefer to be called, are as endemic as hermits in any other nation of the world.
All right, I guess we just better make sure none of these so-called grung give our position away. I would probably say to is it Lucelle?
Mhm.
Okay. Um, I would just say like keep an eye out for grung.
Understood.
Because you would have a better view than me.
So the grungs are basically smaller than the other thing I was thinking of. Understood. Thank you.
All right, Zashi. Eventually, your hour will come to an end. You go in. You know, Cherie said she didn't need to sleep as long. Cherie, would you just wake up automatically after your trance, or
I think I would probably be staring at her as she comes back inside.
okay?
Yeah, I would collapse back into bang. Tired.
Thud pretty heavily onto Zeke.
I imagine him.
Hmm.
We're not hearing you there.
That she had.
I don't hear you. They don't hear you right now.
Okay, I was gonna say, I imagine Pandas never woke Zashi up. Zashi was a little annoyed that Pandas never picked her first, considering she's the most fucked up out of all of them. But she didn't say anything.
Okay, so you see Cherie looking at you. Zashi just looks at Cherie and then collapses onto Zeke's side. Zeke probably does not even notice.
Just like a slight shift.
Keep vigilant.
Okay, you gonna climb out?
Yep. Kind of hunkered down with my remudded body and huddle in the corner to look like just a bunch of brush. keep watch like that.
Okay. Give me a perception check, please. Okay, you are keeping an eye on it. It has been some time since you were in the forest, and though you are a natural at it and well experienced, it has a time and recent uh, uh, activities are most present and forefront in your mind, and your natural instincts are taking some time to kick in. So you're not quite jumping at the sounds of the forest, but it is a bit overstimulating to be back out in the world after prison life. And you find yourself having a bit of a hard time trying to readapt back to the life of a wanderer.
Part of my brain is like keep smelling the air and see if I can't pick up any guards or horses, weirdly enough.
Mm. As far as you can tell, you can't smell anything, but you do know that the wind is now blowing towards the prison, so would un- you are at a bit of a disadvantage by being upwind.
I also kind of frown at that because I know if one of us still has a smell, it's gonna go to them.
Is there anything else that you would like to do over your watch?
Just watch the sky for a moment, enjoying the breeze.
Yeah, though the day is bright and sunny, the forest seems to have a chill of its own. The moisture of the air keeping it cool and the breeze blowing through you is actually a bit chilly, half submerged in mud as you are. Um, but it's better to be outside. It always was for you. You spend your watch enjoying that. As your watch comes to an end, what would you do?
I'll probably double check around before waking anyone else up because I'm sleep.
Okay, you're gonna stay up for the last 2 hours then?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you give me
Would
another perception check as it goes to noon?
since we have some people doing watches, would Lucille be able to do like a short rest during one of those watches?
You get yeah, more than yeah. You can
Okay,
you're
cool.
you're also still resting while you're doing watches, like
Okay, so
so
yeah, she does a short rest in that just to get spell slots back.
yeah, 100%. Shri, as you stay on for the fourth and final watch, it goes from noon, the sun high above in the sky to early afternoon. And as the day continues to progress, you do smell the scent of dog and horse and fear, the sharp spike of adrenaline that carries on the wind, grow closer once again as the patrols seem to be now ringing the prison, moving around in ever widening circles out from the center of the plains. And then you smell something else, a sharp, acrid smell, like something is burning.
Gonna try and follow that acrid smell for a moment.
Okay. You step up, move out of the tree, and turn following your nose. You can see a tree several hundred feet deeper into the forest that appears deader than the rest around it. It's not more withered, it's not smaller, it's not a more gnarled tree, but its bark and leaves that remain are a darker, more black brown than the other trees around it. And though it doesn't smoke, you can smell this scent seems to be emanating from it.
Kind of gives a soft smile at that, and then I'm going to get closer and just kind of
As you get closer,
inspect it.
the smell starts to change. It goes from something burning or burnt to the smell of overdone meat, of thoroughly cooked smoke meat beginning to toughen over the fire. And you do see a wisp of smoke begin to emanate from the tree. And in your mind's eye, you can see a delicious rack of ribs, perhaps? Something heavy with spices, flavors that you can but faintly remember from an experience long ago.
Hmm. I'm gonna go up and touch this tree. It's just almost lurking around it, trying to follow that. Almost just weirdly salivating around it.
Okay. As you reach out and touch the tree, everyone is awakened at the end of their long rest to the sound of a tremendous bang. As Cherie and Lucelle see a black lightning bolt rip not down but up from the tree, tearing what looks like a rent in the sky for an instant. Cherie, you are blown back 30 feet smoking and fall to the ground dead. Everyone is awake, everyone hears the sound. Pandaziver tears out of the hole looking around.
Sorry, did you say
What?
dead?
Yes, I did.
What
Oh.
was that?
Mm. Roll out the hole. Shit. We gotta get going.
Pandaziver looks over at Lucille and throws a rock up at her and like puts their hands up in the air like, what the fuck?
Folks, we best be quick. That's probably not gone unnoticed. I'll sort of run up, give her a bit of a shake.
Oh, she is burnt and smoking, her flesh singed and crispy, crackling at your touch as you grab it. Her clothes like are singed and falling away with ash as you try and like grab them. And curiously, you can see that her hand, like the muscles are locked around the branch that she grabbed and tore away from the tree. It's almost as tall as she is.
I'm just sort of looking back at the tree. What does it look like? Has it changed in any significant way?
Yeah, it looks like it was hit by lightning. It's split down the middle and smoking. The branches are burning. However, it smells exactly like a burning tree should. It is like actively smoldering out in the wet mud.
Well, and I'll pick her up and start walking back over to the mud hole. And
Is she
I'll just-
breathing?
nope.
Can I see her?
I mean, yeah. I'll sort of, yeah. dump her on the ground in front of you.
Let's see here. Yeah, Lucille isn't a doctor. She ain't trained in medicine, but she does got magic. So one, she's gonna try pumping in cure wounds. Also, did Zashi spend any hit die during her rest?
Well, everybody else got a long rest, so
Okay.
everyone should be at full, have all their stuff back.
Oh, okay. Well, does it look like? I mean, she's all singed up by the lightning, but does it look like she took a hit, or she's down to 0? Okay. Okay, yeah, she uses 3rd level cure wounds. For 18. See what happens.
You press your hand against the burnt, smoking chest. The healing light flows out from you in the soft greens and pinks of the Feywild. And they meet Cherie and turn black and crumble.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, also, she's no longer tiny. She's actually looks like she's about what 5 feet tall now. Double check my size.
How'd you do that?
No, she's she's 3 feet tall. She's about 3.5 feet tall. Oh, but a little less than 4 feet tall. Yeah, 3 foot tall. She's still small, but she's not as tiny as she was. Yeah, she's super tiny when we first saw her.
Pick her back up. Do like another once over. So,
Her,
I guess Twiggy's
eye pulls open, and it's surprisingly unharmed for how scorched her face is.
What the fuck?
Okay, could I try like a medicine and see if I can glean any of the stuff I read to see if she's like, I guess like if there's something salvageable about her, like if her eye isn't scorched to hell.
Yeah. Why don't you make your way over and give me a medicine check? What do you just like give her a medical examination as she's lying on the ground? Check her pulse, limb movements, and things like that.
I'm gonna just drop like a little bit of dirt in the open
Those who
eye.
cannot do, teach.
It sprinkles across it. It's kind of gruesome.
There's no response. It's not like the eye is not like cooked white like in a baked fish.
No.
Okay.
The orb itself looks unharmed if rolled back into the back of her head partially. With a 9, I mean, she seems dead as dead comes. Unfortunately.
I mean, I guess check
He's
her
dead,
for
Jim.
shit we can use. And I'll just like real quick rifle through what remains of her extremely charred stuff.
Sure. Give me an investigation advantage.
Not good at that one, but hey, apparently this time I am.
Her bag is pretty badly burnt, but most of the things inside are fairly fireproof. The extra pair of clothes that she had are burned, but the flute, crowbar, hammer, pythons, things of that nature, are mostly unharmed. A few of the torches seem to have caught and then gone out, and had a little bit of their time used up, and her water skin is very scorched. But what you find not in her bag, but in a pocket close to her chest, is a small piece of crystal of a nature that you don't recognize.
I'll pick it up, like lick it with my claw.
It produces a light pinging sound.
Huh.
It's a fairly pure note.
I'll tuck it away. Alright, well, let's grab her shit, and I guess I'll just take what's left of her bag, hand it out to everyone, or empty it out onto the floor, I guess, and then pick up her body, and go, well, I really feel like we do not want them finding this right away. because that means they'll know where we were. So let's just dump that in the pig shit hole. Um, sorry, Twiggy. You were cool if very creepy.
Oh, indeed, she was super fucking creepy, but she was also real insightful and perceptive.
Was she? I didn't notice.
Oh yeah, she damn near caught me about 5 times.
Oh, okay.
You really didn't notice.
I don't know, man. She's creepy magic shit.
Anyway.
Anyways, and I'll sort of take her and yeah, gently slide her body into the mud hole and cover it up with some sticks.
Zeke, with 19 investigation as you lay Shuri down, there's one other thing that you notice.
Mm-hmm.
On her chest, scorched as if it were the part where the lightning struck her first, so much that you almost didn't notice it. There is a wound that looks not unlike an arrowhead struck her. Though it is scorched, it does look fresh. You're not
I'm
sure.
just gonna look around at the others real quick and turn. Sorry, Twiggy, and just fingers claws in at the sternum, pull open the chest to see if I can find an arrowhead in there.
Give me a medicine check.
Okay. Not good.
You don't
I just kind of
feel
make a
anything.
bit of a mess.
Just a little bit. It the gruesome part is it more like breaks apart like
Yeah.
burnt wood than flesh.
I feel like it's probably like when you burn a marshmallow and then you're breaking it open.
Mm-hmm. You really burnt it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think people, and then I'll just like close her eyes. And don't got no coins, but maybe the ferryman will take some leaves, I guess. Like take a couple of leaves and put them on her eyes.
I got coins, and she gives him some silver.
Oh, thanks. I'll put one on each eye.
She gives him 2 silver pieces.
Hey, well, we don't best get going because lightning is not an easy thing to miss. Yeah, let's go. And quickly covering the tracks, bound off.
Yeah, you guys each probably have your own branch. It's Ashi's
Yeah.
recommendation.
I mean,
He knows Zashi loves to recommend stuff.
interestingly enough, the fairy Lucille does not have a branch, but that's because she's also floating.
She fly. Yeah.
She's flying. You know, at least half a head above everybody else.
Okay. You guys reach this like point here, where the two sort of game trails seem to diverge. One heading north and west, the other slightly north but almost entirely east as you see it turns
You
to head that direction. Vaguely in the direction of the town or the trading post.
folks, you got any advice from what you heard last night? Because I'm thinking probably we go east.
Yeah. I mean, now GM, the fairies was operating outside. I would say she's probably operating remotely to get in and out of the prison. Like she would have a small camping site that she work as her forward base from to do her diligence of observing the star in question. But then she would also occasionally go back to probably the trading post because less people observing her activity, I guess. What would you say?
It was my understanding that you were just like coming in and out of this plane, but if
Oh,
you,
yeah.
but like, and now that
It's
now
more
you
like she's
can't go
doing
back.
extended. Yeah, it's more like she's doing extended tour because they have limited access because they've gotten in so
Okay.
much trouble.
Okay.
So yeah, she
Um,
reports back with her ritual.
yeah, you would, I mean, whatever like camping supplies you would have on you, enough for like a one-person camp. I don't know that there would be like an outpost of any kind.
No,
But if you,
she would have a trading post that she traveled to.
oh,
The,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so would she know a way back that's or be familiar with the way back?
I get, that's what I mean is that were
Yeah.
you would interact with other people.
Hmm.
You weren't just completely a viewer. That was my understanding, is that
Yeah.
you didn't want to, like, your mission was one of secrecy as well. Like, even
Yeah.
regular people couldn't know that you were there because that messes with the TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. She used because she can use disguise self at will.
Gotcha.
She would,
Okay.
yeah, blend in as people or as guards when she needed to, or hide out of sight using her sizing or invisibility.
Sure, then you can have been to both the town and the trading post if you so wish.
Yeah, and so she would know a good path, and that's I'd say is like maybe she would recommend a way to for them to travel to. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so you would know that from where you are. I'll take you guys back to the world map real quick. You are still in the southern edge of the dead forest. Though the town of Wolfstone is closer, you know that it is more that this place is where most of the families of the guards stay and live. Many of the officials of the uh, um, Faerun wizards are stationed here. And things of that nature. You would also have to ford a crossing of the river at some point if you were to go that direction. No Man's Trading Post is a much easier gambit, but it would require a fairly long overland haul, which is the most likely time when you would be caught, even at night. As far as a route, you would know that the guards fairly rarely make their way all the way to the coast, but that there is also very, very little cover there. This is not a craggy or mountainous island. It is fairly flat over the entirety, save the small natural hill that, or the large natural hill that Prison Wolfstone is built on. However, from your experience thus far, at least until the search parties reach the forest, you are fairly safe within its confines.
Mm.
Both cities as well have thriving ports. Of course, the trading post is slightly more varied in its ships, whereas most of the ships coming to or leaving Wolfstone are specific merchant vessels or military vessels or prison transports.
Yeah, that's the one most of us came in on.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so she would communicate that to everybody else, and she'd have ideas of places we could potentially get a better security or hiding places while traveling to No Man's Trading Post.
Out of curiosity, like, what kind of color would we find in this overland area? Like, would there be bushes? Would there be the occasional tree?
Yeah, it's not like a desert. It's just sparse scrubland and trees, things like that.
Okay.
Uh, uh, like wild horses and things like that are very abundant. With your experience of this island and traveling around it, I'll say as well, Lucille, that you also know that there are more than a few centaur tribes that call this island home.
Yeah, maybe we could barter something with the Centaur. I have a little bit of gold. Maybe we can convince them to help give us some assistance with traveling to the trading post. I don't know. That's only if we find any. They kind of nomadic.
Found any centaurs? And I don't got nothing I can give him. So
Well, I said I got stuff I can give him, so we might be able to make a deal if we see him. But for now, we just gotta be cautious. But yeah, I'd say your best bet is to go for the nomad trade and pose less trouble for you once you get there. Just a longer trip, and you have to worry a little bit more about the guard spotting you.
How many days do we think it would take to get, or how long to get to Nomads?
Overland, it would take roughly roughly a day. If you were
Yeah,
to march for the full 10 hours, you could make it.
yeah. But if we were trying to be cautious, probably split it between 2 days, investing in hiding.
Is there much like palm or anything down by the beach, or is it pretty sparse?
It's fairly sparse, but there are there are portions of it that are more lush than others. They don't. It's not like a sweeping rainforest that verges the island, but there are like small stands of trees every few hundred feet. Some much
Yeah,
larger than others. Things like that.
yeah. Um, all right. I don't know about you, but I mean, I'd like to get out of here as quickly as possible. Um, and with them, what did you say they were doing? The scouting parties?
You're trying to pick the trail, so I mean, you want to keep moving, but yeah. Also, if we stay here, it's probably hard for them to catch your scent right now.
I'm feeling like maybe we go out to the coast, run along at the tide zone, so the sea washes away our tracks. That work
I
for you
mean,
folks?
I don't leave tracks. So that's no problem for me. I just want to make sure y'all prevail because you're my mail ticket. And she kind of grinned impishly at you.
What now? Is you is
I,
you going
I
to
was
eat us?
no,
No.
not like that. I can explain when we get someplace when you're not worrying about someone trying to shoot you with an arrow.
I I I really do not get you, but I do not have the time to worry about that right
Yeah,
now.
exactly. We'll deal with it later. It's a later problem.
All right. What's everyone's thoughts? We just bolt it, or we want to try and
I
split this
mean,
up a
we
little?
gotta get the fuck off this island.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm feeling much like that too.
so let's hoof it.
Mm-hmm. I
Oh, hey, I was able to rest a bit more while y'all was sleeping. And she casts cure wounds. Or wait, did no, you got a long rest, so you didn't need it
yeah
anymore. Never mind. Never mind. I'm stupid. So yeah, she's like, never mind. Disregard it entirely. Continue, please.
all right. Let's get bound them, and shall we head off then? I guess.
Okay, you guys are heading due north then, or are you heading to
East.
the east? Okay,
North.
and then you're trying to make it to the coast here. Okay, got it. All right, you guys begin making your way through the forest. Are you attempting to? You're attempting to be stealthy. You're all trying to cover your tracks.
Yeah,
Okay, and probably eat some time until it's dark again.
yeah,
Before you exit the forest, I would assume.
yeah.
So you guys take uh uh plenty of time. I'll say, how about I roll stealth for Panzer for the group? Does that sound for everybody?
Sure.
24, pretty good. Uh, under the uh inaudible guidance of Panzer, you all cover your tracks and do your best to leave as little scent as possible behind you throughout the rest of the day. As you make your way to the edge of the plains, you can see the great grass sea that extends outwards in every direction, almost as far as you can see, before the ocean meets it far, far away. Because of the natural slope of the land, you are going to be headed at a slight downhill for most of your trek, making your journey slightly easier. Are you guys all just like as night is falling? You guys are all clustered up around the edge, the forest's edge. Why don't I get a group perception check from all of you, to look around for threats or anything like that. Make sure that your way is clear. All right, as you all are gathered at the edge of the forest, Zeke and Zashi, you can both hear something making its way through the underbrush towards you. It's not trying to be stealthy, but it is as large as possibly as large as Zashi is. Um, and it does sound like it's moving on 2 feet. As far as you can tell, the patrols are not out on the plains ahead of you, but as you know, that can very quickly change. What do you do?
How far off does it seem?
60 feet, moving slowly closer.
What are we doing, folks?
Penziver like makes her way over to a tree, pulls her crossbow.
Yeah, I'll duck behind another. Is everyone muted?
I will follow suit and also take cover. Sorry.
Lucelle?
No, I'm still here. She yeah, no, she goes down to hide.
Okay. As you all crouch in the brush, readying your weapons, natural or otherwise, you see a figure not stumbling but leaning heavily on a large gnarled staff as they are making their way through the gloom. And those of you with dark vision see first the slight and slightly singed looking form of Cherie.
Is it
Before
just still pried the fuck open?
no. Uh, as she moves into the moonlight, you can all see her. Only thing different is that her eyes are black, save for the
Oh,
whites that rim them. Cherie, do you say anything as you see your friend? Can't believe it, Josh is dead. No!
Josh.
Fuck and piss and shit. Okay, quick 5 minute break while we wait for Josh to get back. Yes.
Sounds good to me.
We need to pee. Josh, are you back?
Yeah, Vol.
He is back.
Hello. Is
Hello.
everybody else here? Sammy still here?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I described as you walked out of the forest. You see everybody crouched and waiting, ready to kill you if you are dangerous. And the only visual difference, besides your cracked and somewhat singed exterior, your skin does look whole once again. However, your eyes, save for the whites that rim them, are completely black, as if your pupils have expanded to cover your iris.
Mm.
I immediately shout and throw the crystal at it.
Shout what?
Ah, fuck.
A piece of crystal sings its way through the night towards your face, Cherie.
I was going to ask where my trophy went.
I will very happily pick up my crystal.
What happened?
I'm not sure.
You seem less dead than before.
I've been enjoying the scent of the wind, and one in particular caught my nose. Well, aside from the loud bang, I woke up and all my things were missing.
Well, you did seem pretty dead. I apologize.
And I did not I would like to say I didn't condone the looting.
Not worried about the rest, I'm more worried about this. Have it back now.
So, you're not gonna, I don't know, haunt the shit out of us or anything?
Give it consideration.
Alright. Well, we're going now, so come if you want, I guess. And start going across the plains because I don't want to waste any time.
My pack back now.
Oh, yeah. Drop it.
Thank you.
Nice and crackly go over and pick up my backpack. It's probably equally crispy still.
To be clear, Cherie, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're not dead.
That did not be dead either. Oh, sad that the absolutely romantic odor that I had followed seems to have dissipated for the moment. Where's our
Sure.
goal?
Sherry, in your head, you hear, "What's it like to die? 'Cause you was dead."
I don't think it was death. It was quiet. It was like sound sleep in the dark for a moment.
Huh.
All right, you guys all start making your way out along the across the plains in as direct a path as you can make it east. Everyone except Lucelle has dark vision, right?
I do, definitely.
Yep.
Most definitely.
Okay, so Lucelle, as you all set out, the moon is in the sky, but it is not bright enough that it is illuminating the ground or the world around you. Are you doing anything to give yourself light, or how are you staying with the party?
She has light. So she casts light on a little stick or something to give herself a little torch.
Okay. Keep it like in your hand so that the light goes in a very specific direction.
Yep.
Quick question: are we meant to be on the map twice?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. No, please turn that off. That is a terrible idea.
Okay. Well, she covers up the lamp when it the light source, so it's not. And only puts it out so she can see where she's going. But then, or actually, she actually turns it off. But she throws down like a rope to somebody else. Can somebody else hold this, and I'll just
Yep, I'll grab
follow
it.
quietly. So she's like a fairy balloon now.
Yeah.
That's so cute. Why is it giving Shrek?
Doesn't seem that dark out right now.
Are we able to move?
Yep.
All right, because I'm just bounding along.
Okay.
Yeah, just move me. I guess keep me along with Zeke. I guess within 10 feet of him.
I feel like Zeke's probably just a little bit faster than you, so you're getting a little bit dragged along.
Yeah, well, just keep it airborne. So
Yeah.
No problem.
I will
Okay.
note that Sharice has been walking with the burnt lightning branch this entire time.
As you guys are making your way and moving across the plains, it is a long trek. You know that this journey will be. Let me go to the world map. About 16 miles, and even are you? Let's talk about travel pace before we get too spread out. How fast are you guys trying to go? Are you guys just sprinting across?
I feel like, yeah, if we're going through like tall grass, maybe not
Yeah,
like
I imagine we're
sprinting,
making, not
but like-
sprinting, but
fast
making
pace.
pretty good time.
Yeah.
fast paced.
Okay. All right. So you guys will have about 4 hours of which you are trying to cover these plains. If you're moving at a fast pace, that's roughly 4 miles per hour. Is anyone keeping watch?
I mean, definitely listening and keeping an eye out behind us to see if there's any light or anything.
Okay. Everybody give me your passive perception scores in chat. Lucelle, you are accepted.
I'm exempted.
Yes, because you do not have dark vision and are forgoing sight for the most part.
Because she's
would
the light off so keep him cover.
would they not be able to see if someone was approaching with a light themselves?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
I
I suppose that'd be obvious enough that it wouldn't really matter.
most of you, yeah, especially in the dark, that's a fairly
Yeah.
low DC to see approaching. You all set off running, and for the first hour, you fly across the land, moving incredibly quickly to attempt to reach the settlement, so that you will no longer be, so you can get off this blasted island.
I don't know if there are any like little streams or anything that like real ones that wouldn't necessarily be on the map, but like just any sort of body of water or anything we could move through that would break up our trail.
You do see what looks like rain-swept flatland, like the small funnels in the land that would trickle water across this very slight mound that you guys are running down. There are more than a few that are still wet with water, though it's not more than a few inches deep, as you guys can like splash in that to help hide your scent as well.
Yeah.
It is at one of these slightly larger funnels where you've all stopped for a few moments to slake your thirst and take a moment's rest when you hear a sound of drumming in the distance. It is Zeke and Cherie who hear it first, but it is Cherie who first makes out the large forms, like the large quadruped forms headed in your direction. They bear no torches or light, and but you can hear the galloping sound of horses' hooves as they move towards you. And those of
Are
you
we
in
able
dark,
to run and duck into some bushes, or
yeah, you guys can do whatever you wish as you all see several large centaur emerge out of the darkness, weapons drawn but not positioned to threaten or attack. As you all dive for cover, why didn't you give me a group stealth check?
Hell yeah.
Lucille casts invisibility on herself.
Okay, give me stealth with advantage. Or problem with casting spells is that does invisibility have vocal components?
Second.
I mean,
Yeah,
wouldn't
verbal,
she just be able
somatic,
to
and
whisper it?
material. It has verbal, somatic, and material, but she doesn't require the material components because she's got to focus. So
Right,
it's just
yeah.
verbal and somatic.